Mrs. Manov refuses to go away from the house until he gets money, until he gets the money that had been taken by her husband. He sits there in the room, refusing to move, and then he asks for water. He asks the servant to get him either some kvass, kvass is a drink, or some water. Luca goes inside and comes back to him carrying little water. Luca hands him water and tells him, Madam is ill, she cannot talk to you, she doesn't receive anybody, and you can't meet her again. So there is no point in waiting, please go away. So indirectly, Luca is asking Mrs. Manov to go away from the house. Smirnov, march, go out. Luca goes out. Smirnov shouts at the servant, Luca, and Luca, hearing this, Luca goes out, he gets frightened. Ill, Madam is ill, and she is not talking to anybody, she is not receiving anyone. All right, it is not necessary, I don't have to talk to her. I won't receive either, even I won't talk to her. Let her sit inside. I'll sit here in this room. I'll sit here and stay until you bring that money. I won't go away from the house until I get the money back. If you are ill a week, if you take 1 week to pay me money, I'll sit here for a week. If you take 1 year, I'll sit here for 1 year. As heaven is my witness, as God is my witness, I'll get the money. Without getting the money, I won't go away from here. You don't disturb me with your mourning or with your dimples. And he seems to be talking to Mrs. Popo, who is not in the room. He says, you don't disturb me with your mourning. You say that you're in mourning. You say that you are in mourning even now, even 7 months after the death of her husband. She continues to be in mourning. And he says, he tells her, you can't disturb me with your mourning or with your dimples. Dimples here, physical beauty. I won't get affected by that. You can't disturb me with your beauty, or you can't distract my attention or divert my attention with your beauty or your mourning. I will stay here till I get the money. We know these dimples. Dimples here, beautiful women. We know these dimples. He calls out the window, Simon, unharness. He looks out through the window and sees his servant waiting outside, and he tells him, Simon, you can let the horse loose. Smirnov comes to Mrs. Popo's house in a horse carriage. Simon the coachman is waiting for Mr. Smirnov to go back, and he calls out the window. He looks at him through the window and tells him, Simon, I'm not coming back now. You can let your horse loose. We are not going to leave right away. I won't come back now. I won't come out now. You can take a rest. Let the horses also take a rest. We are not going to leave right now. I'm going to stay here. Tell them in the stable to give the horses some oats. Mrs. Popo has got a stable here. So he says, ask those people in the stable to give some food to our horses. Some oats should be given to our horses. Ask them to give some oats to our horses. The left horse has twisted the bridle again. Bridle, the apparatus attached to the mouth of the horse to control that. So he says the left horse has twisted the bridle again, and he imitates how, he shows how it is twisted. Stop, I'll show you how. Okay, you just set it right. Stop, leaves a window. It's terrible, unbearable. He had no money, didn't sleep last night, now morning dress with all moods. My head aches. Perhaps I ought to have a drink. Oh yes, I must have a drink. Calling, servant, come inside, give me some drink. Water is not enough. Through the window, he talks to Simon, his servant, his coachman, and tells him the left horse has twisted the bridle again. Set it right, imitating him. Stop, I'll show you how. This is a way in which it has to be rectified, it has to be corrected. Stop, leaves the window. Oh, come on, inside the room. It is terrible, unbearable heat. No money. Didn't sleep last night because he was put up in a dirty inn the previous evening, the previous night. And now she says she's in morning dress. She is in a bad mood. And my head aches. Perhaps I ought to have a drink, but who is going to give me a drink? I must have a drink. He shouts loudly. He shouts loudly, calling the servant, ask him to give a drink. Luca comes running and he says, "What do you want? What do you wish?" Smirnov, "Something to drink. Can you give me something to drink?" Luca goes out. Smirnov sits down and looks at his clothes. Ah, fine figure. He looks at his own clothes and says, "Oh, what a figure. What a fine figure. No use denying that. It is dust. Look at my clothes. It is dusty. And look at my boots, which are dirty. It is unwashed, uncombed. So on my vest, the lady probably took me for a highwayman. Oh, I'm in a dirty dress. Because the previous night I stayed in a dirty hotel. My clothes have become dirty. I am wearing dirty boots. I am unwashed. Dust all over the body. Dirty boots, unwashed. I haven't combed my hair and there is straw on my vest here. My shirt, the lady must have seen me. The lady must have mistaken me to be a highwayman, a robber. Highwayman, a robber who stops the people on the highway and robs them of their money, he yawns. It was a little impolite to come into a reception room with such a clothes. Now he blames himself for having come into this room in this kind of dirty clothes. Oh well, no harm done. I'm not here as a guest, I'm a creditor. But he consoles himself by saying that, and that doesn't matter because I'm not here as a visitor, I'm not here as a guest, I'm a creditor. I have come here to ask her to return my money, so my dress shouldn't matter, dirty dress shouldn't matter. There is no special costume for creditors since creditors do not have a special costume, special dress. Any dress is okay. So my dress, my dirty dress shouldn't make any difference. Luca entering with a glass and he tells him, "Sir, you take great liberty in this house." Smirnov gets angry and says, What are you telling me? I just..." Luca is frightened hearing the loud voice of Mr. Smirnov and he says, Smirnov, "Whom are you talking to? Keep quiet. Don't shout at me hereafter." Luca angry. "Oh, nice mess. What a mess we are in. What a disorder. What kind of problems are we in? What kind of a situation, dirty situation we are in now. The fellow won't leave. He continues to be here. He is saying that he won't go out." Luca tells himself. Luca goes out. Smirnov, "Lord, oh God, how angry I am. Angry enough to throw mud at the whole world. I feel ill. Oh, servant." Once again, he calls a servant. Smirnov tells himself, "Oh God, how angry I am. Can't control my anger. Angry enough to throw mud at the entire world, the whole world. And moreover, I am feeling ill. Oh, servant, come here." At that time, Mrs. Popov comes in with sad eyes, downcast, dull eyes. She looks very dull and she comes in with downcast eyes. Mrs. Popov talks to Mr. Smirnov. Says, "Sir, in my solitude, in my loneliness, I have become unaccustomed to the human voice and I cannot stand the sound of loud talking. I beg you, please stop disturbing my rest." Mrs. Popov tells Smirnov, "Look, I am in my solitude. I am in my loneliness. I don't go out. I don't talk to anybody. I don't entertain any visitors or guests. I have become, because for the 7 months For the last 7 months since my husband died, I have been living in this way. I have been leading a life of solitude. So I am not used to, I have become unaccustomed. Now I'm not accustomed, habituated. I'm not habituated to the human voice. For the last 7 months, I haven't heard anybody talking loudly. I haven't had any human being talking to me. So now I'm not habituated to the human beings. Now, since I have been leading a life of loneliness, I have been unaccustomed to the human voice, and I cannot tolerate the sound of loud talking. For the last 7 months, I haven't heard anybody talking loudly in this house. So please, sir, I request you not to shout loudly. Your loud talking irritates me, gets on my nerves. I beg you, I request you, please stop disturbing my rest. Please allow me to take rest. Smano, pay me money, I'll leave. Smano gets angry and tells her, look, you don't have to put up with me. You just pay the money, I'll leave immediately. Hearing this, Mrs. Popov gets angry and tells him very clearly, look, I told you once very clearly, plainly, in your language, native tongue, in your language, I have told you I don't have the money at hand. Wait until day after tomorrow. I'll give you the money after the manager comes back from the city. Smano. And I also had the honor of informing you in your native tongue that I need the money today. It said no, day after tomorrow. But today, if you don't pay me up today, I shall have to hang myself tomorrow. Now Smirnov pays back in the same coin by saying, look, I too told you in your native tongue, in your mother tongue, that I need the money no day after tomorrow. I need the money today. If I don't pay me today, if you don't pay me today, tomorrow I have to kill myself. I'll have to commit suicide. Didn't I tell you this thing in your own language? Mrs. Popo, what can I do if I haven't the money? I'm willing to pay you the money, but now look at my situation. I don't have money now. So you are not going to pay me immediately? You are not? I cannot pay you immediately because I don't have the money. Then Smirnov says, okay, if you are not going to pay me immediately, then I'll sit here until I get the money. He sits down. You'll pay day after tomorrow? Excellent. Very good. Here I stay in your house until the day after tomorrow. Until day after tomorrow, I'll stay here. He jumps up. I ask you, do I have to pay the interest tomorrow or not? Madam, let me ask you one simple question. Tomorrow, I am supposed to pay my interest. Should I pay the interest or not? Just tell me. Or do you think I'm joking? Mrs. Popo, sorry, sir, I beg of you, don't scream. Mrs. Popov, hearing the loud voice of Smirnov, gets angry, gets a trouble, and she is asking him, sir, I beg of you, don't shout loudly, don't scream. This is not a stable, this is a house. What is a stable? Stable is a place where horses are kept. This is not a stable. It is not a cowshed. It is a house. Smirnov, I am not talking about stables. I am asking you whether I have to pay the interest tomorrow or not. Just tell me, madam. I am not talking about the horses and stables. I am talking about money. Should I pay my interest tomorrow or not? Popov, you have no idea how to treat a lady. Now Mrs. Popov becomes highly impatient. And she tells him, look, you don't know how to treat a lady. You don't know how to talk to a lady. Smirnov, yes, I have. I know how to treat a lady. Oh, no, you haven't. You are an ill-bred. Now she accuses him of being ill-bred. Ill-bred here, badly brought up. Vulgar person, you're a dirty person, very badly brought up. Respectable people like me don't speak so to ladies. Mrs. Popov tells him, "You're talking to a lady in this dirty, vulgar manner because you are basically ill-bred and you are a dirty person, a wretched person. Respectable people don't speak to ladies in this manner." Smirnov, "Oh, remarkable." He makes fun of her by saying that, "Oh, what you're saying is wonderful. How do you want one to speak to you? How should I talk to you? Should I talk to you in French? I'm talking to you in a Russian language. I'm talking to you in Russian. Do you want me to talk to you in German or French or any other language?" Perhaps, "Madam, je vous en prie." Now he is making fun of her by asking her whether he should speak in French. See, their mother tongue is Russian. They have been speaking in Russian so far. So when Mrs. Popov doesn't understand what Smirnov is saying, or when Mrs. Popov considers his behavior as vulgar, his language as vulgar, he is asking her, "Should I talk in some other language? Should I talk in French? Okay, I know a little bit of French. I'll speak in French. Madam, je vous en prie." Je vous en prie means you're welcome. Smirnov, "How remarkable." "Oh, what you're saying is highly remarkable. How do you want one to talk to you? Should somebody talk to you in French? I have been speaking to you in Russian because that's our mother tongue. Oh, if you want me to speak in French, okay, I know a little bit of French, I'll speak in French. Madam, je vous en prie." Je vous en prie in French means you're welcome. Madam, you're welcome. Pardon me for having disturbed you. Sorry for having disturbed you. What beautiful weather we are having today, and how this morning becomes you, suits you. How is this morning? So he makes fun of her, talking to her in French, and he talks about weather, and he asks her, "Madam, I can talk to you very nicely in a dignified, cultured manner. Okay, let me talk to you. Sorry for having disturbed you. Oh, weather is very beautiful, and how does this morning suit you?" He makes a low bow. He bows to her with a mock ceremony. He's actually laughing at her by paying this kind of respect to her. He's not paying respect to her, he's insulting her. Mrs. Popov, "Oh, it is not funny. I think it is vulgar. I don't find what you do as funny. I consider it as vulgar." Then Smirnov imitates her way of speaking. "Not at all funny, vulgar. I don't have to behaving in the company of ladies." And he tells her, look, after imitating her by saying, "Oh, not at all funny, vulgar," he clearly tells her, "Look, I don't understand how to behave in the company of ladies. I don't know how to talk to ladies. Madam, in the course of my life, or during my journey of life, in the course of my life, I have seen more women than you have seen sparrows." Sparrow is a bird. So what is Mano trying to tell her? "Madam, in my life, I have seen more women than you have seen sparrows. 3 times I have fought battles for women." Duels here, fight, battles. 3 times I have fought battles for the sake of women. 12 women I jilted, I gave up, I abandoned, I cheated. 9 women cheated me, threw me out. So he is talking about his experience with the women. He says, "I have seen more women than sparrows in my life. There was a time when I played the fool, used honeyed language, bored and scraped. I loved." He says, "There was a time in the past when I behaved like the fool, used honeyed language, sweet, sugar-coated language. There was a time when I spoke to women nicely, using sugar-coated language, that is honey language, and bored and scraped. I behaved like a slave, an obedient servant. I laughed, suffered, sighed to the moon, melted in love's torments. So many years ago, I respected ladies, I talked to them, I spoke to them using sweet language, I laughed, suffered, sighed looking at the moon, I sighed, melted, I found myself melted in love's pain. I suffered so much. I found myself melting in the torments, pain caused by love. I loved passionately, madly. I loved to madness. So I was in love with women madly. I was very passionate. And I loved in every key, every way, chattered, spoke like a magpie. Magpie is a bird on emancipation. When a magpie gets freedom, emancipation, it will chatter loudly. So in the same way, I spoke like a magpie on emancipation, sacrifice half my fortune in the tender passion, tender, soft passion, my fine feelings for women. I sacrifice half my fortune because I love women. I was passionate in my love for women. Until now, the devil knows I have had enough of it. So I suffered so much. I sacrificed half of my fortune for the sake of love. One day I realized that it was enough. I have had enough. I had had enough of it. Your obedient servant will let you lead him around by the nose no more. Then I told myself, hereafter I can't be a slave to women. Your obedient servant, that's me, will let you go around, will let you lead him around by the nose no more. Till then, I used to allow my women to control me. Till then, I allowed my women to lead me around by the nose. And then I decided hereafter I won't be controlled by the women whom I loved, because I lost everything because of them. Enough. So I said, that is enough. Done. Black eyes, beauty of women. He's talking about the physical beauty of women. Black eyes, passionate eyes, red lips, coral lips, dimples in cheeks, moonlight whispers, soft, modest sides. For all that, madam, I won't pay even 1 paise, kopeck, unit of currency. As in India, we would say, paise. Now he says that black eyes, passionate eyes, red lips, dimples in cheeks, moonlight whispers, soft, modest sides. For all that, today I won't spend even 1 pie on these things. But there was a time when I fell for all these things. I was hypnotized, I was mesmerized by the black eyes, passionate eyes, lips, dimples, etc., etc. That means many years ago, I was hypnotized by the physical beauty of women. But today, I don't care for that at all. I'm not speaking of the present company, but of women in general. Say, I'm not talking about you, ma'am. I'm talking about women in general. Women in general are very dangerous. From the tiniest, smallest to the greatest, they are conceited. Let me tell you, ma'am, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about women in general. Most of the 99% of women are conceited. Conceited, proud of themselves, haughty, highly proud, arrogant, hypocritical, insincere. They are not what they appear to be. Hypocritical, chattering. They are chattering boxes. They keep chatting for no reason, with no purpose, odious, terrible, deceitful, deceptive, from top to toe, from head to foot. They are cheating, they are terrible, they are chattering, they are hypocritical, they are arrogant. So Today I know their real nature. Most of the women are bad. They have got all vices. What are they? They are conceited, they are hypocritical, they are chattering, they are terrible, and they are number one cheats. From top to bottom, they are bad. Vain, proud, petty, silly, cruel with a maddening, dangerous logic, and he strikes his forehead by saying, in this respect, please excuse my frankness. Madam, don't get angry to hear my frank talk. One sparrow is worth 10 of the aforementioned petticoat philosophers. Then he tells ma'am, don't feel bad hearing my frank talk. Let me tell you very frankly, honestly, in my opinion, one sparrow, one bird is better than 10 of the aforementioned earlier, mentioned above, petticoat philosophers. He calls women petticoat philosophers. Women are philosophers wearing petticoats. That means he is making fun of them, insulting women by calling them petticoat philosophers. In my opinion, frank opinion, one bird is better than 10 women. When one sees one of the romantic creatures before him, he imagines he is looking at some holy being. Say, when a man sees a beautiful lady in front of him, romantic creature before him, he thinks that he is looking at a goddess, he is looking at some holy being. So wonderful that is, so wonderful that its one breath could dissolve him in the sea of 1,000 charms and delights. And he feels that her look, one look, or her eyes, or her breath can melt him, can dissolve him in a sea of charms and delights. Charms, attraction, delights, happiness. But if one looks into the soul, it is nothing but a common crocodile. When you see the physical beauty of a woman, when you see her smile, you think that you are getting melted, you are getting dissolved in a sea of beauty and happiness. But if you look at her soul, if you look in the soul, then you will come to know that she is nothing but a common crocodile shedding crocodile tears. Losing his self-control, he catches the armchair and breaks it in two. He has been standing, so he catches out of an armchair in the room, and when he seizes it, the chair gets broken. But he doesn't stop there and continues to say, but the best of all is that this crocodile, that is a woman, imagines she is a masterpiece of creation. The crocodile, the woman, the beautiful woman, thinks that she is a creation. What kind of a creation? Masterpiece. She is a wonderful creation of God, and that it has a monopoly, sole right monopoly on all tender passions. See, women think that they have a monopoly on all the tender passions, soft passions. Men are described as cruel, tough and rough, but women are known for tender passions, and they seem to be having a patent on tender passions. May the devil hang me upside down if there is anything to laugh about a woman. Madam, let me tell you, even I can be punished if I am wrong in saying there is nothing to love about a woman. Today I have realized that a woman is not worth loving. May the devil hang me upside down if there is anything. If at all today I come across a woman who can be loved, the devil can kill me. That means it is impossible to find a woman who can be loved, who is lovable. When she is in love, when a woman is in love, all she knows is how to complain, how to shed crocodile tears. If you are in love with a woman, she'll cheat you, she'll cheat the man by complaining and by shedding tears. she'll shed tears every day. If the man suffers and makes sacrifices, she swings her train about and tries to lead him by the nose. Seeing the crocodile tears of the woman, if the man who loves her suffers and makes sacrifices, what will she do? She will dance around him and then she will try to lead him by the nose. That means she will control the man. She will treat the man like a slave, like a dog, if he suffers and makes sacrifices for her sake. You have the misfortune to be a woman. Mrs. Popov, don't feel bad. Let me tell you frankly, you have the misfortune to be a woman. You should have been a man. Naturally, you know woman's nature. You are a woman, so more than anybody, more than me, you know how a woman is. I need not tell you about this. Tell me on your honor, ma'am, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth on your honor. Don't tell me a lie. Tell me the truth. Have you ever in your life seen a woman who was really true and faithful? Let me ask you one question. Madam, touch your heart and tell me, have you ever seen a woman in your life who is really true, who is really obedient, who is really loyal to her husband or anyone? Never. Impossible. Only the old and deformed are true and faithful. Now, Mr. Smirnov says that old people are faithful, no doubt. Deformed people, deformed handicapped people who are not normal, they are faithful. But any lady who is young, any woman who is a normal, any woman who is pretty is unfaithful, disobedient, disloyal. It is easier to find a cat with the horns or a white woodcock than a faithful woman. And he concludes by saying that you can find a cat with the horns. You know, cat doesn't have horns. So he says it is easier to find a cat with the horns or a white woodcock. Woodcock is a bird that is brown. So he says you can find a white woodcock doesn't exist. So a cat with the horns doesn't exist. So he says it is easier to find a cat with the horns or white woodcock, but you can't find a faithful woman. So that means it is impossible to find a woman who is loyal, who is faithful, who is true.